My friends, may I introduce to you one of my favorite scenes in all of cinema. The directing, the blocking, the sound design, and also lack of sound design, the cinematography, and the music. And it's from a lesser-known Tom Hanks film called Road to Perdition. Just to preface though, this will clearly be spoiling a major part of the story, so if you haven't seen Road to Perdition, please watch this absolute masterpiece from the likes of director Sam Mendes and the late legendary cinematographer Conrad L. Hall, rest in peace, and then come back and watch this video of me gushing over every aspect of this scene. You've been warned. Alright, so if you happen to have a Blu-ray copy like I do, this scene takes place within chapter 21, right around the 1 hour and 34 minute mark, where Michael Sullivan, played by Tom Hanks, methodically executes John Rooney and his goons, with Rooney being played by the late Paul Newman. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it's not heroic. It's just sadly necessary, with the side of Tommy gun to boot. And as we can see, it is raining. A lot. And this isn't just a moment where you think to yourself, oh wow, the rain really sets the tone, you know? This rain is doing some heavy narrative lifting. Rain in film often means rebirth or cleansing, right? Not so much here. It's grief externalized. The sky itself is in mourning. Michael Sullivan has already lost his wife and younger son. What's left of him is just a shell of his former self. Also, logistically, filming in heavy rain at night is a production nightmare. Every light needs waterproofing, continuity is next to impossible, and actors are one sneeze away from pneumonia. So yes, this scene is emotionally devastating, and everyone on set was probably miserable. But again, just look at that rain, pouring off their hats like mini waterfalls. Gotta make sacrifices for high art, am I right? Now, I own this movie and I've seen it countless times because it's one of my favorites, especially after becoming a father, since at its core, this is a story about a father and his son. But despite knowing this film like the back of my hand, if I happened to be half paying attention during a rewatch leading up to this shootout scene, as soon as I noticed the goons getting up from the tables and lumbering towards the door, hearing this bell on the door, yep, that bell, this is my sonic cue that I need to stop what I'm doing and just soak it all in. Pun intended, since these actors are soaking wet. What I love about the start of this scene is that you hear the shuffling of suits and boots, you hear the bell, you hear the torrential downpour, and then it all just fades away, leaving nothing but the beautifully minimal score by Thomas Newman. Now, if you're hella cool like me, alright, let's get real here, folks. If you're hella nerdy like me and listen to audio commentaries on physical media, what is fascinating about this scene is that the director Sam Mendes had such a tough time with it. He kept coming back to it, editing and re-editing, and never being satisfied with the result, especially thematically. Because for the longest time, he had all the sound design there. The rain, the gunshots, the impacts, the goons falling to the ground, everything. But he wanted this scene to have a dreamlike quality to it. So it was literally days before he needed to have the final sound dub finished when he realized, oh, I just need to remove this sound design and let the music tell the story with these images. No offense to the sound department who put all that work into the original edits. And that's what I love about this scene. The images portrayed are violent, yet it's not gory. People are being ripped to shreds by bullets from a Tommy gun, yet the musical score remains calm, dark, and haunting. And this right here, absolutely brilliant. Again, no sound design. No spoon feeding the audience like, hey, someone's shooting a gun here. Just quick muzzle flashes from the shadowy depths of a dreamlike sequence. Notice something radical. This is a shootout where the camera doesn't celebrate violence. No flashy editing, no cool angles, no fetishized gun close-ups. The deaths are abrupt and almost offhand. Because this isn't power fantasy violence. This is a tragic inevitability. Can we agree that most gangster films glamorize action? But here, the violence feels like gravity. Sullivan isn't conquering, he's falling forward. If John Wick is ballet, this is a funeral march with lighting that looks like a painting. Now, the emotional core. The moment bodies start being filled with holes and falling to the ground, Rooney knows exactly who it is. And I love the slow walk Sullivan does from out of the shadows. A ghostly figure reluctantly following through with just a few more tasks before being able to ascend to the great beyond. You'll also notice that this is where the sound design begins to slowly come back into play, a deluge of pouring rain ever present once more. And the look on Rooney's face. This isn't fear, it's understanding. he is not surprised. He sees Sullivan like a son, but he molded him into a killer. This is his legacy. And Paul Newman plays it so well with that microscopic shift in his expression. Pride, regret, heartbreak. All those emotions behind those famous blue eyes. Rain is also a visual metaphor for erasure. Footprints vanish, blood washes away, evidence dissolves. It mirrors what Sullivan wants. Not glory through revenge, but disappearance. He wants his only living son free of this world. This massacre isn't a victory lap. It's a closing statement. This ends here. This scene hurts more than most action scenes because nothing in it feels earned in a triumphant way. Rooney doesn't beg for his life. Sullivan doesn't gloat. There's no witty line like, "Guess you should have brought an umbrella." Just two men who understood that this moment was always coming. When Sullivan lifts that gun ready to fire, that pause before firing several rounds feels like a lifetime. Compounded by Sullivan's face knowing full well that he must end the life of his surrogate father. Pew 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 pew. Even in the pouring rain, this scene feels colder than it should. That's because the emotion is ice cold, not explosive. Sullivan isn't raging, he's empty. A relic of the vessel that once contained a soul. That's scarier than anger. Because anger burns out eventually. No touching! No touching! But emptiness tends to linger. He's a man past the point of feeling. No words, and just enough strength to pull the trigger. The Rain Shootout and Road to Perdition isn't just a scene, it's a thesis statement. Violence may solve the plot, but it never saves the soul. And somehow they made that message look like the most beautiful painting you've ever seen, accompanied by the most beautiful music. Which is unfair, really, because now it makes every other rain scene in a movie look like a car wash commercial. And there you have it, my friends, one of my all-time favorite scenes in cinema. It has it all. I know it's super nerdy, but I highly recommend watching this entire movie with the director's commentary. Sam Mendes breaks down what seems like every shot and how not a single frame was set up willy-nilly. Everything captured in frame has meaning behind it. What a privilege to hear a master of his craft explain these things in real time. As always, this world is crazy as it is already, so it only makes sense to be kind to everyone you come in contact with. Don't just watch TV and movies, experience them, especially films by Sam Mendes. And as a send-off to the late Conrad L. Hall, who won the Oscar for Best Cinematography for Road to Perdition, but sadly passed away before the awards ceremony, here is just a taste of the stunning work he did. Enjoy.